is your weekly celestial forecast for the week beginning December 11th, 2023. On Monday, we have the moon in Sagittarius, gregarious Sagittarius, applying a conjunction to Mars, the planet of action. So we are feeling on Monday rather cheering. We are feeling rather positive, and because there is an applying conjunction with Mars, we are feeling late in the day like we really want to assert our power, and we are filled with energy. Lots of buoyant enthusiasm, and this is good for humor, good for just about anything connected with Sagittarius and the ninth house. We are feeling restless. We want to travel or be on the go. At the very least, we want to communicate very much to anyone about anything. It's about the ninth house matters. It's about our philosophy, spirituality, beliefs, whatever they will be. It's connecting with those from other lands, out of town. And as mentioned, we're feeling really restless. And with Mars there and the applying conjunction with the moon, we really are wanting to look ahead to the future. So our goals are going to be very paramount. And of course, Jupiter is the depositor here. And of course, Jupiter is in Taurus and it is retrograde. So keep in mind with all this happiness and this upbeat positivity with Sagittarius. Now we also have the depositor retrograde in Taurus. So yes, they are very opposite, and especially because there is an inconjunct or a quincunx with Jupiter and the moon on Monday, there's also a little bit of tension, even with a positive attitude, which is really good. We may feel there's some snags or some frustrations, and we really just can't put our hands on that with this quincunx between Jupiter and the moon, and as the depositor of this Sagittarius stellium. Yes, and we will have to be very cautious too of, believe it or not, bullying or any kind of stubborn behavior because of this depositor retrograde. We just need to kind of go with the flow with the frustrations on Monday and take a hint from that Sagittarian outlook that everything likely will be okay. And there is a square between Saturn in Pisces and the moon in Sagittarius early on Monday. Yes. And so we may feel additionally frustrated and blocked because we feel this sense that, well, we want to work hard and we have goals paramount. But with Saturn there, we may feel kind of like this quincunx and the depositor of Sagittarius with Jupiter retrograde in Taurus. With the square between Saturn and the moon, yes, we're feeling additionally like we've got a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of positivity, but Saturn is putting the brakes on. Saturn is in Pisces, so we may also feel a tinge bit emotional, but thank goodness Sagittarius likes to stay away from the drama. So as mentioned, just kind of go with the flow, with the frustrations on Monday and some of the blocks, because after all, on Tuesday we've got a new moon in Sagittarius, and Venus, the planet of love, is in Scorpio, and that well, maybe makes a bit of a really wide trine to Saturn, so that helps out with the blocks a little bit on Monday. Kind of helps to heal our emotions, or heal our frustrations with Venus in very deep Scorpio. So the advice here would be to channel our frustrations and our energy into compassion, into healing, maybe kind of look to our beliefs or the higher mind for some of our answers because of this very, very wide trine within 7 degrees between Venus at 8 degrees Scorpio and Saturn at 1 degree 43 minutes of Pisces. It's a time we really want to reflect and take a hint again from Sagittarius and keep a positive outlook. And additionally, there's a sweet sextile between Venus, the planet of love, and Mercury, the thinker, the communicator. So at least some of our thinking is a little bit well, practical, a little bit more clear minded, very focused on the business and the work at hand with the sextile between Mercury and Venus. And also, we're talking Mercury and Capricorn, Venus in Scorpio, the planet of love. So we are coming up with practical solutions if there's been issues with all forms of relationships now. You have a practical solution. Maybe it's a good time with this sextile to kind of talk things out. Yes, but we have to keep in mind as well the sun in Sagittarius, happy go lucky Sagittarius, yes, is making or applying a square to nebulous Neptune. Yes, indeed. So our sun is about our confidence, and even though we are feeling rather positive and enthusiastic right now with this Sagittarius stellium and an applying new moon on Tuesday, well, Neptune kind of shades things a little bit. So one, it's good to feel positive, but two, we don't want to overlook the details. And that's kind of a warning here from this square between the sun and Neptune. And because Neptune is connected with water, it is connected with oil, minerals, it also is connected with the past, and it is connected with the unknown, and yes, secrets, that which is behind the scenes, or that's which is shaded. This is going to be a time when we will have to be, yes, very clear in our communications with each other because of the square off between Neptune and the sun in Sagittarius. And there may be some information, as always, with the square that is kept hidden from us. We want to get to the bottom of things for most of this week. What is it that we don't know? What is it that we have to figure out here within this square? And also keep in mind, we're talking Neptune, and that squaring the sun could make for some issues with water, the environment, storms, oil, and what have you. But yes, something really has our attention this week that is making us tick as far as mystery to figure out. Yes, indeed. And we also have Jupiter in Taurus, still retrograde, and that is making, well, a bit of a wide sextile to Saturn. So we are, as kind of like the Mercury and Capricorn and Venus and Scorpio, we're kind of taking the practical approach to our luck. Kind of like Saturn puts the brakes on, as always, with Pisces and with Jupiter at 6 degrees within roughly a 5 degrees sextile. This gives us practical thoughts about our luck. We feel like luck's just not going to come from us out of the blue, that we make our luck. And Saturn kind of reminds us within this sextile that we have to work, we have to focus and become very grounded about our goals, our work, and yes, our good fortune and luck. So this is a very practical connection between Jupiter and Saturn. And Uranus is still retrograde as well in Taurus, and this here too, kind of like the moon and Jupiter, is making a sextile with the sun. And because Uranus is retrograde, keep in mind it's not always at its best. So we are feeling that sense of itchiness on Monday, like we know there's something we need to get to the bottom of. Maybe because of the square off between the sun and Neptune, we're not being told the honest truth about something, or we just feel a little bit frustrated or irritated on Monday. But at least because of all these connections that are sextiles, we have practical solutions. Yes, indeed. But Venus is also in Scorpio and making an opposition to Jupiter. So this is like a double-edged sword. On one hand, the opposition is there. We may not agree on everything. And Scorpio and Taurus are very fixed. But within this opposition with Jupiter and Venus, this is very generous because both Venus in Scorpio and Jupiter in Taurus retrograde are all about what the material, a little bit about that, there's that word again, about luck and so on. And within this opposition, even though there's a little edginess starting off the week, we may feel like we've got luck or some good news, possibly good financial news, job news, right around the corner. And as Venus gets closer to that opposition to Jupiter, we may find out in the middle of the week that we do get some good news that we've been waiting very long for in the financial, business, or work department. And Pluto's still at 28 degrees of Capricorn. Yes, so the accent here will be on authorities and the powers that be. And there is an applying, well, no, the the new nodes are going retrograde. Nonetheless, with 23 degrees Libra and 28 degrees Pluto, well, the nodes are about kind of like our touchiness, how we feel, how sensitive we are to our environment. And with the North Node and South Node at 23 degrees, Aries and Libra, and that's applying a T-square here, I should say, is within a T-square here because the North and South Node go retrograde. We are feeling a little bit touchy about certain subjects. And what are those subjects? The nodes are in Libra and Aries. Pluto is the power, as always. So this connects with all forms of relationships, legalities, and so on, especially with Libra here in the South Node, North Node, and Aries. So we want to lead within relationships. We want to keep the harmony and peace. But with Pluto within that T-square here, that cardinal's T-square, we have to be cautious not to get too conflicting about power plays. In so many words, we want to take the leads within relationships. We want to keep harmony, but at the same time, we may feel that our feelings and our ideas are paramount within a relationship, and this could create conflict here because the need to be kind of number one in all of our relationships, and we don't want to upset that harmony here because we have a need for power plays, tit for tat, and that kind of thing, and that could really kind of touch our sensitivities. So, yes, starting off the week, it's kind of a mixed bag on Monday. On one hand, there's frustrations. On the other hand, we have practical solutions, and we're feeling, with all that Sagittarius, at least in a good mood, no matter what transpires. So let's look to the next day. Yes, and that is on Tuesday, December 12th, and we now have at 6:31 p.m. Eastern Time, we have the new moon in Sagittarius just passed, but making a bit of a really wide conjunction with Mars. So with that new moon, it imbues us with new energy. So this is a good time to begin projects. But yes, indeed, we do have that square with Neptune. We cannot omit that. So this kind of shades the facts and sets the tone over the next month. That kind of, as I was saying for the day earlier, it kind of brings about mysteries or secrets or something that we feel that we have to get to the bottom of. Kind of also shades our communications a little bit. It's like we are so enthusiastic to move ahead, and and we've got lots of goals and we're feeling positive, but Neptune kind of reminds us that we don't want to be so enthusiastic, so positive, which is good. They're wonderful traits, that we do not see some of the details, or that there's information that we don't want to overlook because Neptune is kind of shady. And at the very least, Neptune kind of confuses us. We may have choices during this time, over the next month, that we need to make. And we may not be very cautious of looking at those details, or we may be confused about important decisions. Which way should I go? Should I go left? Should I go right? And Neptune's not going to make it easy, let me tell you, with this square between the sun, moon, and very well applying, let's just say, applying square with Mars, now that Neptune is at 24, almost 25 degrees of Pisces. But because of the square, yes, uh, as mentioned for Monday and in general, during this time, there's a possibility of big storms, a lot of moisture, issues with water, whether that's the lack of water, the overabundance of water, or what have you, uh, in the air. Uh, Waterways also could be issues with sea life, and so on and so forth. Also, some would say that Sagittarius, kind of like Aquarius to some degree, is connected with space. Yes, believe it or not. So there could be also issues with space travel, and so on, that could be rather confusing. Or if you want to be extreme, maybe there's something from space that may have a question mark around it, because remember, Neptune always shades the truth a little bit when it is squaring off with the sun, and in this case, the new moon. Yes, but at least we're rather forward looking, and this is a good time for all forms of exploration even if it is in our mind, because Sagittarius is connected with the higher mind and travel and anything to do with foreign languages, the law, because yes, contracts. The ninth house Sagittarius is connected with such. Uh, Not so much like Libra connected with the courts, although that will be a bit of an issue with the South Node in Libra. This is connected more with contracts, contract negotiations, also all forms of travel we will have to be cautious about. So make sure with this square, if you have travel plans during this time, that everything is zipped up very well, because there could be problems with all forms of travel, trains, planes, cars, you name it. So, another area that's going to be of focus during this time and effect of the new moon. So, let's look ahead to the next day, which is Wednesday. Yes, indeed. And now the moon is in Capricorn with Mercury. So that kind of takes a little bit of the edge off, a little bit of that positivity on Wednesday. Although the sun and Mars are still in Sagittarius, we're still feeling rather, well, peppy or enthusiastic and forward looking. But now with the moon in Capricorn with Mercury, it's all about business communications. Yes, it's about hard work. We really want to keep our nose to the grindstone on Wednesday and Thursday. It's not about really about talk about tomorrow unless it has a practical sense about it and our feet are firmly on the ground come Wednesday. And to add to that, we've got a beautiful trine to Jupiter. Oh, lucky Jupiter, even retrograde. This is really positive, much more so for the financial arena. So, good news on Wednesday with jobs and finance, what have you. It's a good time. We may feel that we want to save for a rainy day. We want to really focus on the future in a practical manner. And to add to that, the depositor of Capricorn is Saturn, and that makes a sextile to the moon, bit of a really wide sextile to Mercury. So Wednesday, we are really determined. We are really determined to focus on our future and take action. And with Venus, the planet of love, making a sextile to both Mercury now and the moon, well, that's all about business. And it's all about what? Seeing the practical, sensible aspects of love on Wednesday. Oh, this is good. No, it's not really romantic with this sextile between Scorpio and the moon. But hey, this lends the groundwork, that sense of security uh, within a relationship. Maybe on Wednesday, this is the time we really want to talk it out. We want to make plans for the future. And that's what Wednesday is about. It's about our plans, about our finance, our money, our hard work and planning, saving for a rainy day. And that can only be too positive. So, hard work and plans for Wednesday. And let's look ahead to the next day, which is now Thursday. And this is December 14th. The sun is at 22 degrees of Sagittarius and Mars at 14 degrees. And now, with this connection with the sun and Mars, well, the sun is still making a square off with Neptune. So, kind of continues the theme this week about a little bit of confusion or uncertainty with regards to information that is coming about us now, but we're still feeling a little zippy and positive on Thursday. And Mercury in Capricorn now, yes, it is now retrograde and it will remain there until January 1st. So we really want to make sure during this time, as grounded as we are with this very earth water connections going on, our feet are firmly in the ground, on the ground for plans for the future. That's all wonderful because Mercury is going to be going backwards. Not really, literally. It just appears like that in the sky. But nonetheless, that kind of, in a weird way, somewhat continues this confusing theme between Neptune and the Sun. But in this case, with Mercury going backwards, because remember, Mercury is the communicator. This only adds to a little bit of confusion here about information, and that could also affect all forms of communication, information, the internet, uh, all forms of communication, like, yes, the written word, the spoken word, computers, all forms of technology, even though it's in Capricorn for now. But very much so once Mercury goes back into the sign of Sagittarius. Oh boy. So the next few weeks or so are going to be a little bit frustrating. Yes, a little bit confusing. Yes, there could be mix-ups in communications. Yes, this is a time you do not want to sign on the line because of the square with Neptune. Now, Mercury retrograde, because although the astrological weather may seem good once you sign on the line and everything seems good to go, well, guess what? In the long run is what we may have to worry about. So do not sign anything legal right now because likely it could be, well, bit of a bit of a mess later on, or there could be changes or delays. That's another thing we're going to have to be cautious of, and especially when Mercury goes into Sagittarius again, there's going to be delays in travel and delays furthermore with communications, mix-ups, you name it. So hold on to your hat, folks, for the next few weeks because Mercury is retrograde. Yes, but at least for now, Mercury makes that sextile to Jupiter, so at least that gives us a positive attitude with the Sun and Mars in Sagittarius. So that can't be too good. And even on Thursday, with retrograde Mercury starting off for the next few weeks, the moon is in Capricorn and then applying a conjunction with powerful Pluto. So we're really wanting to really get down to business and dig and find out about the details. Why? Because the moon is just past the sextile to Venus in Scorpio, which is all about detective work, figuring out those details, and it's applying then the conjunction with powerhouse Pluto, the depositor of Venus. So let's look ahead to the next day, which is officially Friday. Yes. And now we've got the moon just past Pluto in Capricorn. So on Friday, yes, with this square between the moon and Jupiter and with Pluto. What is that? That's power. It's about the powers that be. On Friday, we don't want to, well, What's that again? We don't want to overstep our bounds on Friday. We want to keep the peace because when you've got the moon in early Aquarius with Pluto, well, we may hear about leaders or those in authority that may overstep our bounds. We don't want to overstep our bounds. And right now, because we have the square to Jupiter, so we're feeling like, we can do just about anything. But with this square off, we will have to be careful about what? Exaggerating our needs, exaggerating our philosophies. And this is a time because the moon is in Aquarius and it's connected with the collective, the masses. We want to be very sensitive and compassionate. Why? Because the moon is in kind of chilly Aquarius here. So there could be some issues on Friday with the masses, the collective, our humanity. This may come under the microscope now on Friday. Yes, and with the square to Jupiter, and remember Jupiter and right now retrograde, it's not at its best, can create some very big earthquakes or earth changes because Jupiter is in the very earthy sign of Taurus, squaring the unexpected and the unusual, the rebellious sign of Aquarius. So yes, on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, pretty much the weekend, we're going to have to really kind of look out for these big earth changes over the weekend. And Friday, wow, with Pluto, that could be connected with very big earth changes on Friday. But it is a reflection of what? The collective, the masses, and the tension here with this moon Pluto and Jupiter in retrograde Taurus. So this really is going to get us going on Friday regarding something about our principles, our beliefs, our friendship, and there's that word again, our humanity on Friday. So this is really going to affect the collective in general. And yes, there's that issue again, kind of earlier when there is the moon in Sagittarius at the new moon. Here again, too, we've got the moon Pluto in Aquarius. So this could affect what? Technology. And yes, that could have to do with hacking. It could have to do with anything. The breakdown of mechanical, although that's predominantly ruled by Virgo occasionally, but yes, to some degree with Aquarius, technology, AI. This is going to be, of course, the focus for us on Friday, but it's also on the good side. It's good for, yes, our humanity. It's also good for genius. There may be over the weekend something that we hear about that is a really positive invention for humanity or some kind of tech that will help us in general. So there is a positive here. And so let's look ahead to the next day, which is now Saturday. Yes. And the moon is further along in the sign of Aquarius. Now it makes a square to Uranus. And not only Uranus, but Uranus as the depositor and retrograde at squaring to the moon. So Friday and Saturday, there's that theme again of some big earth changes. Expect the unexpected, whatever that will be. But kind of like Friday, there is an issue connected with our humanity that really gets our opinions going. Yes, and perhaps as Friday, the earth changes are a result of some of the tension within humanity, within the collective, within the masses. But we will be very expressive about our opinions on Saturday, about our humanity, about issues regarding technology, and also that which is about what? Because what is Aquarius? Kind of like the North Node here in Libra, by the way, of which it makes a trine. It is about justice. It's about right and wrong. And this is also going to be, interestingly enough, a theme for this week. It's about the right, the wrong, justice. Earlier in the week, maybe to do with contracts, legalities, and so on, and making wrongs right. And that's what Saturday is about, although we may feel like we're kind of opposing each other with our needs. And because there is also a T square in the fixed signs over the weekend with the moon, Uranus, and Venus. So we also don't want to become close minded in our relationship, because starting on Friday and Saturday, we are feeling awfully obstinate. It's that theme again about the tit for the tat, the right and the wrong. I'm right, you're wrong. This is the way I see it. That's the way you see it. We really want to kind of look at the positivity of Sagittarius, the humanity of Aquarius, and the deep depth of feeling of the Venus in Scorpio here. So we really want to really consider others' opinions. That word with Aquarius, opinions, belief, and that connection with Sagittarius and Aquarius. They have that in common, very strong in their beliefs, opinions, philosophies, freedom. And over the weekend, with this Sagittarius and Aquarius connection, and this T square within the fixed signs, over the weekend, possibly starting on Thursday, that's going to be our outlook and about our personal freedoms. Within relationships, we may feel a little bit stymied here or held back. We want uh we want freedom about what we believe in. We want freedom about how we want to act, how we want to be. It's about how we treat each other and humanity, and all this is going to be paramount. Talk of freedom, talk of our philosophies. And the thing here is, within this T square, if we don't negotiate, if we don't talk it through, and we really have developed kind of a close-minded attitude, well, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday could be filled with some tension. So do be on do be on the outlook for a narrow-minded outlook over the weekend. And as always, take a hint from something more positive here, which is the Sun and Mars and Sagittarius. Because after all, Mars, the planet of action, does make a sweet sextile, air and fire, between the Moon and Mars. So at least that kind of leaves the door open for some very forward-looking discussions and a positive attitude. And we're going to need it come this weekend, with a lot of activity with the earth, within our communications with each other. However, with the North Node in Aquarius and the South Node in Libra, at least that also leaves the door open for more discussions with all forms of relationships. Just don't be too overly obstinate within this T square in fixed signs. You really want to be more considerate and compassionate, and that is going to be a good theme for this weekend. And finally, we're going to look forward to the final day of the week, which is Sunday, December 17th, and the moon is now conjunct, oh, sweet and sour Saturn. So we are feeling rather emotional on Sunday because with Saturn's kind of, it's very stable, but it's very grounded. But in the sign of Pisces, it can be rather emotional, and sometimes we can have a tendency to kind of be rather, well, pessimistic with Saturn and Pisces now with the moon. But it's very compassionate, very sensitive. It's a good time to really channel our energies Sunday into our charity and not only sympathy or kindness for others on Sunday, but who else? Ourselves. So Sunday is a good time for downtime to really reflect on the past. And with the moon with Saturn, there could also be issues come Sunday with memories from the past, or who knows, maybe even individuals from our past will show up. But that's going to be the theme on Sunday: past memories, past connections. And this could be rather positive because the moon is connected with Saturn. But we also don't want to develop pessimism with the moon and Saturn on Sunday. We want to keep that positive mental attitude that Sagittarius is giving us, but we also don't want to drown too much in self-pity or whatnot. But also, what else is the 12th house? What else is the moon in early Pisces with Saturn? It's the 12th house. So yes, oh boy, and the depositor is Neptune. It's a time about mysteries, exploring the unknown. So that's going to be about Sunday, and pretty much this week, as mentioned, because the square between Neptune and the Sun. And now on Sunday, the moon, which is about awakening memories, and Saturn in Pisces, it's going to be about figuring out something that's grabbed our attention. That could be uh, publicly, or it's personally in our life. We may feel like there's an issue. We really want to get to the bottom of it now. Something has really intrigued us. But with the moon and Saturn, and its depositor is Neptune squaring off that Sun, we may have a tendency to trip up on our own words. We say this, but we mean that. Or in our communications with others, it's about, well, what did you mean by that? You said this and I said that. So there's going to be a lot of this confusion going on with this kind of shady Neptune connection, communication this week. But hey, we have Sagittarius really want to express their opinion. Sagittarius feeling positive, but that, alas, folks, is what could get us into some trouble. Is we are so eager to speak our opinions, our philosophy, our mind. We're feeling rather humorous, but that therein is where the issue may be. So be cautious in your speech, be cautious in your travel this week. That includes Sunday as well, because of this depositor with Neptune and the moon and Saturn. Yes, all communications in general on Sunday. And as mentioned before, when you travel, make sure all your travel plans, especially travel during this holiday season, are zipped up pretty well, and you should find yourself feeling the good about this week. Rather practical, a little bit confused, but feeling rather positive, even through all the feistiness. So until next weekly celestial forecast, many blessings. If you'd like to get in touch with me, my contact information is down below. I give one-on-one readings and written reports. Please subscribe to this channel and press the bell notification. Until next time, many, many blessings.